Welcome back to Kids in the Kitchen. My name is Emma, and today we are going to be learning about fruits, and then we're going to make a fruit recipe, which is a pear crisp. Fruits take up about a quarter of my plate, and examples of fruit foods include apples, kiwi, pear, and lemon. It's important to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables because all different fruits give us different vitamins and minerals. So the nutrients that we get from red fruits are different than nutrients that we get from yellow fruits. That's why it's important to eat the rainbow. You can eat fruit that's frozen, fresh, or canned. It's important to note that fruit juice also counts as a fruit food according to my plate, but fruit juice would not give us fiber. Fiber is good for the digestive system, and that's something that you can only get from fresh, frozen, or canned fruits. As always, step one of our recipe is to wash our hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Step number 2 is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And step number 3 is to apply oil or use cooking spray on the bottom of our pan. The pan that we're using is a little bit different than what the recipe calls for. It calls for a 9-inch pan, which is more square. You can use either one, but this one is gonna work just fine. And our recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of oil. I know this is 1 teaspoon because it has 1 TSP, and the T is lowercase. So this is a lot smaller than a tablespoon would be, which is a capital T. I'm using this brush to spread the oil evenly across the edges of the pan. That way our pear crisp doesn't stick to the dish. Typically when we're baking, if we're using dough, we could use flour on the bottom of a pan to make it not stick as much. In this case, we are going to be using canned fruit right on the bottom of the pan. So we're going to use oil to prevent that from sticking. Your ingredients might look a little different than mine. Mine are sitting in a fruit juice concentrate, so I'm actually gonna strain that out in the sink. If your canned fruit is not sitting in any sort of liquid, then you won't have to do this step. But I'm gonna make sure that all of the juice comes out of the can because we don't want our pear crisp to be soupy. We want it to be nice and crispy. The ingredients that I have are halved pears. Yours might look differently than mine, but because mine are in halves, I'm gonna slice them into smaller pieces. That way they're spread more evenly through the pan. If yours are already sliced into small chunks, you don't have to do this step. You can use a fork or a spoon. I'm just going to use my whisk to spread the pears evenly throughout the bottom of the dish. Our next step is gonna be to add the oats, the cinnamon, and the brown sugar into a small bowl. We're gonna be using 1 cup of quick cooking oats. We know this is 1 cup because it has a 1 on it. And I'm gonna pour it right over the bowl. And we're gonna make sure that it's filled all the way to the top. And now I'm gonna pour it right over the pears. I'm making sure that they're all evenly covered because this acts like a crust on top of a pie. I just added enough apple juice until it was evenly coated. And I'm just gonna cover this with foil for the first 20 minutes of baking. That makes sure that it's evenly cooked and it helps it get nice and crispy on top. The oven is preheated at 350 and now I'm gonna put it in. And that's gonna be in there for 20 minutes while covered. We're gonna take it out, uncover it, and bake it for another 10 to 15 minutes. And then this is what it looks like when it's finished. So I'm just going to cut a slice. And this is a healthy dessert or breakfast option to get some fruit in with every meal. This is a delicious and healthy snack for you to have.